The Curse of La Llorona, true story, real grieving wailing woman steals our children. Mirror Online. The Mexican story behind The Curse of La Llorona is more scary in its heartbreaking grief than the new film Andapo's take on the Wailing Woman. Say the name of La Llorona in Mexico and watch children run scared. The Wailing Woman, or Weeping Woman depending on who you ask, apparently committed such a horrific act in life that her spirit was then trapped on earth in death. She now roams the world tormenting children, at least according to the bedtime tale whispered into Kid Andapo's ears before they try and drift off to sleep. The legend dates back hundreds of years, with various stories popping up, from sightings to folklore, TV appearances to films. The latest iteration comes with the Conjuring spin-off The Curse of La Llorona, starring Linda Cardellini as a woman whose late husband was Latino and finds herself tormented by the spirit. The story may be fairly straightforward in the film, but in reality, it Andapo's all depending on where you hear it. The gist of it, and the most typical version, begins with Maria, a beautiful, but vain woman who marries a rich man. Maria and her husband have 2 children, but after a few happy years, their marriage hits a rough patch. He begins to spend less and less time at home, ignoring her but lavishing attention on her children. One day, when Maria was walking with her children, she sees her husband with another lady. Furious with what she has seen, she throws their children into the river, watching as they disappear. At Andapo's, Maria runs down the river bank, wailing, "I miss Hijos."
Raindrops, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.